Well, I think the base case should be J.D. Vance. Ohio is obviously a pretty safe red state right now, but I think the two of them have a mutually compatible outlook. It really suits the theme of his campaign, which is a very sort of robust, sort of aggressive America First campaign. The speculation, obviously, and the real exciting component would be if he were to choose Nikki Haley. Coming off of a 22% win in Indiana in the primaries just a couple weeks ago, she has shown that she has a real lock on a totally different demographic that Trump has struggled with for many years, and specifically in the last couple months, which is the female demographic, specifically suburban, married, educated women. That would make his potential path to an electoral college win on par with Obama's in 2008 a real possibility.
So, Henrietta, on the VP pick, when do you think we're going to hear it? When, who could it possibly be? Because that seems to be maybe at the top of the agenda here today.
Right. Yeah. So my understanding is it could happen as early as tonight, but I've seen quite a bit of speculation and rules changes within the RNC delegation and their committees that it could be as late as Wednesday. So while I recognize that the Trump team is saying that it could be tonight, I wouldn't be surprised if there were some fastballs thrown in here at the last minute. But my base case expectation is for J.D. Vance, and I'd be pretty alarmed and surprised if it were Nikki Haley. The difference between the two campaigns and internally within the Trump campaign, I think, is probably insurmountable, but it would be a very rational sort of strategic move for Trump to move to the middle and try to say, this really is a unity ticket. Let me show you how, and put Nikki Haley on the top.
If we go to J.D. Vance for a moment, what was striking, though, is how he really came out and was blaming Democrats for the assassination attempt on President Trump. What we've heard so far from former President Trump is more of a message of unity. Do you think that the unity message prevails here on the ticket, or do you think that the fracturing prevails on the ticket?
I think fracturing is where Trump feels most comfortable. I think he likes being, sort of the aggressor, and a unity ticket is not in keeping with anything we've seen from the Trump campaign since 2016. So I'd be pretty surprised if it were Nikki Haley. Again, I do think that makes the most political sense for him, just in terms of trying to win the Electoral College and winning the popular vote as well, which could be massively helpful to him in 2025 as Republicans try to pass a $4.6 trillion tax bill. So there is a lot of strategic benefit to choosing a Nikki Haley. I don't know if it's compatible with his actual campaign, though, and my default is going to be a J.D. Vance style candidate. Marco Rubio is another one I'd put up there in roughly the same category.
So, Henrietta, what do you think, or let's put it this way, do you think the message from former President Trump and his campaign, will it change at all given the events of Saturday?
I think the agenda of the campaign and the campaign in general needs to just get through the next couple of months. We are, in the very early days in July. I mean, this should be something that we are expecting as a shakeup in October, and it's only July, and we've had two massive shakeups in just the last week, with the disastrous presidential debate for Joe Biden and the dramatic rise we've seen in calls for Biden to get off the ticket, and then an assassination attempt. So from my seat, there's a lot of whiplash, and we still have 4 months to go till actual election day.
Part of the Biden campaign has truly been talking about how President Trump will fracture democracy and what a big risk is. Do you think the Biden campaign can continue with that now? They've already pulled some campaign ads. How does that narrative evolve?
No, I don't think that that's going to hold. The idea of staying as a unity ticket, suspending campaign donations, suspending fundraising, suspending ads, that's all going to wrap up, I think, in the next couple of hours. You're already seeing some policy papers come out from the White House. There was one released just moments ago on the impact of Trump's potential tariffs and replacing the federal income tax with tariffs, which would drive tariffs up. It would have to be 70% or higher in order to compensate for the lost revenue to Treasury if they were to abolish the federal income tax. So there's stuff percolating behind the scenes. And then let's be mindful that the Biden team is really trying to beat back the base of the Democratic Party that's hoping he will step aside. So a whole bunch of things went in Biden's favor, ironically, since the shooting. And it is really just that it has taken Democratic concerns about his ability to run for another 4 years off the table, I think that's only temporary. In the background, you still have calls from members of the DNC and from donors to either suspend donations, not continue contributing to the campaign, and to move forward with something akin to a mini primary in late July. So all that is percolating in the background, and I think Biden's going to have to go out in force. The one area he really succeeds in beating Republican messaging on, aside from things along the lines of abortion, is really who has the better state of play with regards to maintaining democracy. He pulls ahead of Trump by 7 points there. We'll really want to watch and see how that plays with voters in the wake of Saturday's shooting.